Hi, welcome to Talking About Life with Lily podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. So, it's been a while, but I'll just go straight to it. So, today I want to talk about Mia Khalifa. If you don't know her, she's like a popular porn star that has been making waves so far on YouTube because of her TikTok opinion on marriage. I have an opinion about that, but I want to specifically talk about something that I think is so important, especially today in our culture, because I was going through a very popular YouTube channel. I won't call names because I'm not out here looking for trouble. I respect the YouTubers, I support them because they're advocates for social issues, but I think that there was just some things I didn't agree with. When Mia Khalifa came out from the porn industry and she was, sort of bringing light to what the porn industry is all about, and the calamity and the trauma and the chaos and the destruction and the agenda of the porn industry and what it entails. Everybody was rooting for her. Everybody was like, I need you on my platform. I need you to come and talk about this your experience, even if they don't tell you that they need it for views, or they do need it for views, not in a very weird way or in a very malicious way, but they need it so that her voice can cut across so many young people, older people that are still into porn addiction or any other thing. But everybody wanted her on their platforms to sort of create awareness, which is a good thing. But now that she's back into it partially, from what I heard and what I'm seeing on social media, creating an OnlyFans account and all those things, everybody is now quick to bash her again. But when she was coming out, everybody was like, "Come on my platform, throw light to it, talk about it." And now she's back into everybody's like, "You didn't leave the porn industry. You were malicious. You went back right into your ways. Screw you. We hate you. We don't want you. We don't like you," and all those kind of things. And it just makes me wonder the kind of society we live in. You know, when she came out of porn industry, and I'll break this down. When she came out of the porn industry and she didn't want anything to do with that, nobody understood that coming out from the porn industry is literally, the way I see it, is like almost like having a drug addiction, and then you want to pull out of that drug addiction. And for some reason, because of your withdrawal method, because you have withdrawn from something you've been so addicted into, you're going to have some kind of attacks, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. There's Your body's just going to be like, what the hell is going on here? We were used to a routine, so what the hell is going on here? And so many drug addicts struggle with this phase of withdrawal because it's like your body's fighting you for stopping it from doing the normal thing it's supposed to do. And so sometimes drug addicts will find themselves consuming the drug again, and they'll regret it. And some would, find something else to fix that feeling that they feel because they have withdrawn from the drugs. It's the same thing with porn. She came out of the porn industry, Mia Khalifa, and nobody understood that her body is going to fight her, not just her body, she's going to be secluded. I think I was watching a YouTube video where she was invited on a popular podcast. I think it was Diary of the CEO, and she broke down the marriages she had. And when she came out, she talked about this particular porn thing. When she came out of the porn industry, she was not living in the right place. The industry was on her neck, basically fighting her because she was trying to bring awareness and try to bring light to the dangerous agenda of the industry. Her being a young girl, offered a contract. She just talked about what she felt, everything. And one of the things that stood out to me was when the guy asked her on I don't know if it's a podcast or a YouTube, but I came across the video on YouTube. The guy asked her something, when you came out of this whole porn thing, you were secluded because many of the things you're used to, you had to stay away from. So how did you deal with that seclusion? And you could see her countenance. She sort of brought light to the fact that she was all alone. It was a lonely period coming out of the porn industry, and the porn industry is fighting you legally, and you're fighting it. You're fighting this battle innocent on your own because I mean, obviously, YouTubers, popular social issue advocates want to bring her to the platform, but after bringing her to their platform to talk about the porn thing, she goes back right back to her life and she has to deal with these demons. Nobody was there to really like, okay, this is not an easy thing. In as much as we want her to talk about the porn industry and we want her voice to go around to the young people to save their lives from this agenda, she's still dealing with a real thing. She's still going to struggle with seclusion. She's going to struggle with the backlash and the impact of this industry coming after her. Her videos all over the place, despite the fact that she's trying to pull the videos down and get out of the industry. Not only that, she talked about her phase, the phase of the marriage. Like she getting married, I think was at 18, and she talked about that marriage. And I'm not really going to conclude based on her story. But me watching all this narrative play out, and then now that she made a video on TikTok and everybody disagrees with her, we want to bash her. But when came out of the industry, we are all celebrating her. But now that she's back into it, and now she said something wrong, we want to quickly bash her. And it almost makes me feel like you can't bank on the society to save you. You really can't. Am I supporting her going back into the porn industry? Absolutely not. But one thing I am saying is this girl has been through a huge amount of trauma or trauma, however it is pronounced. And she had to deal, and she talked about, dealing with insecurities from a very young age, and how that led her to people pleasing and how that led her to her first marriage. And from the first marriage, dealing with being dark skinned, bullied, all these things played a role. The bullying, the low self esteem, the people pleasing thing, all these things led her to the porn industry in an effort to sort of, I don't know, maybe suppress her trauma or deal with it in a different way. I really don't know. But it just makes me think that we are quick to bash people, but we don't really recognize the huge level of trauma. If you notice from the beginning of this podcast, I talked about drug addiction and how the withdrawal method is. And I tied it to Mia Khalifa coming out of the porn industry and then now she's going back into it. And nobody wants to talk about her loneliness during the period when she was going head to head with the porn industry when she wanted to leave. Nobody wants to talk about her trauma, her people pleasing, actually the fact that she was lonely, dealing with all these things on the YouTube and the various news station. Everybody was advocating for her and happy and excited that she has left this industry, but nobody was really there to really see her walk through this process. You know, alone behind the scenes when she will come down from these platforms after speaking, when she want to, like, nobody was there. And I know that some people will bash me and probably say, but she's advocating for the consumption of porn. I don't support that attitude of hers. I really don't. Sorry about my legs. I'll cover it now. I don't support that narrative of hers with regards to consumption of porn, because that ideology itself is completely wrong, and is wrong for so many reasons. I mean, the reason why we are at this stage in society is because of the consumption of porn, not just in the porn side, like all over the place. Everybody's dressing indecently. I mean, I'm not trying to to really say that, like, everybody is basically dressing immodestly. Porn is everywhere. You walk on the street, you see someone you know, boobs out, butts out, and basically, everywhere you go, you just see porn everywhere. Or you're trying to look for something on Google, and porn is everywhere. So I don't really support that fact that we should consume porn and all those things. But one of the things I need people to be aware of is, in as much as we are bashing her, the issue is much more bigger than just bashing her. It's much more deeper than that. We as a society, when someone is trying to go to war against what they did wrong, we should rally around that person. I'm not saying beckon to their emotions and be all emotional all over the place, but community is necessary during that phase of the person fighting against what they did wrong, which she did. And nobody was around her. We just invited her to the platforms. And now and she talked about the fact that she was all alone, all secluded, living in a kind of secluded place, trying to leave the environment she was staying in, because that was where the porn thing started. And in fact, you need to go and watch that YouTube video. But the point I'm trying to say is that I'm so huge on the effect of trauma, and I'm not trying to beckon to anybody's emotions. Anybody can disagree with me, but I'm tired of the fact that society doesn't recognize what trauma is doing to so many of us. I mean, this whole thing started from low self-esteem. It started from her being bullied. It started from a lot of things, and seeds begin to grow out of this thing that was planted in her mind, and the seeds begin to grow into a tree, and we are all seeing the tree play out, and then we are bashing the tree and not going back to the root. Low self-esteem has caused a lot of girls to get involved in so many things. Is it relationships? Is it making the wrong choice? Is it coming on TikTok or Facebook or whatever platforms, Instagram, for fame, for attention, people pleasing thing? We don't talk about these things. We don't even have grace. We don't even talk about. We are quick to bash the wrong behavior, but we don't have the right attitude. We don't really think deep. Go off social media and just think deep about these things that are happening to young women. Like, what is causing all this calamity? We are quick to bash the wrong attitude, but we don't want to deal with the root. And I understand trauma has been addressed many a times. Every single time trauma has been addressed, but it's almost like it's deeper than just saying trauma. Trauma is trauma. Like, we should start really creating awareness of how society has been so infested by trauma. One bullying trait can send you down a spiral of wrong choices. One low self esteem can send you down a spiral of wrong choices. And then it's difficult to come out of. I mean, sometimes I just imagine Mia Khalifa. Like, she has to live with this reality of three failed marriages, going head to head with the porn industry, and she has to live with that thing for the rest of her life. And then each and every choices she make, whether wrong or right, we the public are subject to bash her at every point in time. It's almost like she doesn't have a break. She can't have a break. Am I supporting her attitude? No. Am I supporting her narrative? No. But there's a bigger issue I'm pointing the audience to. There's a right way to do these things. There's a right. There's. It's much more deeper. I don't support her advocating for porn. I don't really support it, but it's I don't support the fact that we are quick to bash her at every point in time. You know, three failed marriages and her acting out on TikTok and saying all those things about the fact that she um leave the marriage and all. I watched that and I was just thinking in my head that trauma is just oozing from this young lady. Trauma is screaming from this young lady. Trauma is shouting from this young lady. She clearly is still dealing with her past. She clearly is still dealing with the reality of porn. And I know some people will say, you know, don't bring emotions into this thing. I'm telling you the reality of these things, because we can all live our lives, a cliche version of our lives on social media. But when social media, when the phone is turned off, she has to deal with the reality of her choices. Three failed marriages, that can impact your mental health. The fact that you're still dealing with the fact that you're always going to be known as a former porn star, that can impact your mental health. The fact that you can't seem to find happiness, you know, that can impact your mental health. So obviously you expect someone that is so backed against the wall to keep on making wrong choices and keep on acting out. But as a society, what is our role? What is our duty in this phase? Is it to bash her, or to recognize what the hell is going on with her and how we as a community can sort out how to fix it? So when I watched the popular three YouTube videos, basically, a company basically on YouTube that I respect very much for what they're doing with regards to social issues. I won't mention their names, but I just disagree with the three people that I watched on that same platform on YouTube talking about she did this and she did, and I'm just like, we know, but like, can we hear something else on how to really guide her down the right path? Like, or am I in delusion here that I'm seeing something deeper here? So I just feel like there's so much more that we can do as a society than the way we are behaving. Everything is just so toxic. You know, there's no grace, and I don't believe in grace for bad behavior. But what I mean by there is no grace, I think it is high time people start recognizing traits, seeds, what is being planted, and and the symptoms that are showing, and how we as society can collectively help the person walk through it. We can't just call her to our platforms when she leaves porn industry, and then we leave her alone after she has finished speaking on porn, and then she's supposed to figure out her life on her own, and then she does something wrong, we are quick to bash her again. Like, well, I'm not going to repeat myself all over and all over again. This is just my opinion. So thank you for coming back to this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is just my opinion. So bye.